Hey, what's good YouTube? Guy and Kicks here. So in today's video, I'm gonna be reviewing the New Balance 990 V3 in the sea salt colorway, part of the Teddy Santis 16. This was a pair of sneakers, guys, that I really did not plan on getting when they first released. Because I first got the 990 V2 sea salt colorway, I was like, why do I need another pair of white New Balance sneakers? But these restocked last December and they were sitting on the New Balance website, and I was just like, man, they are so tempting. And I went ahead and I pulled the trigger, and I'm so glad I did because these are so good. So I'm gonna review these for you guys real quick, but I'm also gonna compare them real quick to the New Balance 990 V2 so you guys can see some of the differences of those shoes if you're someone still in the market and you're trying to decide which colorway or which model you wanna go with. So let me show you guys a first look. So here we have them, guys. These released back in May of 2022 for a retail price of $210, and these are also part of season 1 of Teddy Santis collection working for New Balance. Getting right into the colorway and the details of this model. As you can see here, the colorway on these is primarily white, but you do have some grays throughout the upper of the shoe and also some off-white on the mudguard of the shoe. You will see some hits of black and red throughout the upper of the shoe. Really small details, for example, on the top eyelets, that's made out of all black, and obviously the edging of the New Balance logo, and then a little bit of red on the front of the tongue where you see the New Balance USA, and then all the way to the back of the shoe as well. The materials on these V3s, the upper is primarily made out of the white leather that you'll see throughout the upper of the shoe, and then the underlace is that really nice metallic mesh. These come out of the box with white laces, but they come with an additional pair of light gray laces that for me, I switched those right away because in my opinion, the light gray laces look so much better on this colorway. You will find reflective materials on these V3s on the usual spots on a 990 V3. For example, on the toe box, you will find a small strip there. Also on both end logos, and then all the way to the back where you find the Made in USA scripted, that's also reflective, and as you can see there, it's also perforated. The midsole here has a two-tone color. You primarily have that nice cream color towards the mid part of the midsole going all the way to the heel part of the midsole, and then around the forefoot and also on the heel part of the midsole, it's in this really cool off-white color. In my opinion, 990 V3s look so good when they have a cream midsole, and here once again on the sea salt colorway, it just looks beautiful, and it's one of the highlights of this colorway. The cushioning system on these V3s, as usual, it does have end cap, and then primarily the midsole is made out of the absorbed material. Switching the shoe over to the outsole, it is a rubber outsole. You do have endurance here as well. The color on the outsole here is primarily in that dark gray color. You have a lighter gray around the forefoot part of the outsole. You obviously have a carbon fiber plate that is one of the main features of the cushioning system of a 990 V3, and then you have a little bit of off-white and cream all the way to the heel part of the outsole as well. When it comes to sizing with the 990 V3, these are made in USA New Balance sneakers, so I prefer going a half a size down for my regular size 10. So for example, on some New Balance sneakers like a 2002R, a 574, a 327 for example, those I go with a regular size 10. With the Made in USA V3s, I go with the 9.5. If you never own a pair of 990 V3s or any New Balance sneaker in general, whatever your regular size is in Nikes, Adidas for example, I recommend you go with a half a size down from those. Like always, guys, if you can and try on a pair of 990 V3s in person, I highly recommend that before pulling the trigger or paying resale for one of these sneakers. When it comes to comfort with the V3, guys, I've said it before, one of my most comfortable New Balance sneakers that I own, in sneakers in general. This midsole here is just amazing, has a great balance of firmness and softness, doesn't really bottom out like other sneakers in the past that I've bought. These are just so good. So if you don't own a pair of V3s, I highly recommend you do that. And these are Made in USA sneakers, so they're gonna come in this Made in USA box. And here you have the official tag and SKU. So comparing the 990 V3 Sea Salt and the 990 V2 Sea Salt, as you can see here, some of the major similarities between the two is that the upper is the same when it comes to a mostly leather and mesh upper. They're obviously mostly white, but the V2 definitely is whiter compared to the V3. Some of the main differences between the two is obviously they're both different models, but when you really get into the details, that's when you're gonna really notice the bigger differences. For example, on the 990 V2, you have a mostly canvas tongue, where on the V3, you have a traditional tongue that's made out of mesh. When it comes to the laces, I prefer the cream laces on the V2 over the light gray laces on the V3. The V3 is definitely going to have more reflective material because the 990 V2, the only part you'll find some reflective material is all the way to the back of the shoe because the end logos are actually made out of suede. Overall, the leather material is actually pretty soft, but I did notice that when I first got the V2s, they felt just a little bit tighter compared to the V3s, and maybe it's because the leather panels on the V2 around the toe box are a little bit wider than the ones on the V3. But once you put the V2s on for a while, you break them in, they'll fit like a glove. When it comes to the midsole on both shoes, obviously the V3, the midsole and the cushioning system is definitely better than the V2, but for me, I just like how this cream midsole looked on the V2. Definitely stands out a lot more than it does on the V3. So overall, that color blocking right there, that color scheme on the V2 just looks so much better over the V3. And also on the outsole, the V2 has a light gray outsole where the V3 has a mostly dark gray outsole. Here on the back of the shoe, I'll definitely give it to the V3 because in my opinion, the V3 just has the best looking rear out of all the 990 models. And then you also have the New Balance branding in red, which does give it a cool contrast and makes it pop a lot more. But overall, I just wanted to bring you guys a quick comparison of the V2 and V3 Seasole. They're both great shoes, guys. You really can't go wrong with either or, but if you're someone who can only pick one, I wanted to bring you guys this review so you can really see them side by side and also how they're gonna look on feet, which I'll show you guys in a second. In my opinion, the V3 is my favorite 990 out of all the 990 models, but for some reason, in this colorway, the V2 just looks so good, man. It just looks so clean, and then you have this really thick cream midsole that just makes it stand out a lot more, in my opinion, and then you have these really nice thick cream laces as well. You have the canvas tongue, which is also a different switch up here with the V2. You have this really cool detail of the suede on the end logos. So for me, I would still pick the V2 over the V3, but man, is it so close. It's like splitting hairs here, but you know what? That problem is solved when you have both colorways and you really have best of both worlds here. But if you put a gun to my head and I can only pick one, I will still go with the V2 because it just looks so much cleaner overall, in my opinion. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna put both models on so you can really see a side-by-side comparison on how they look on feet. So that's it for me, guys. Hopefully this video brought you a detailed look of the 990 V3 in the Seasole colorway, and I hope this video was helpful for anyone out there who's looking at both colorways and you're still having trouble deciding which one you want to go with. I hope this video helped you out, making your decision a little bit easier. And like always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. To all the new subscribers, thank you so much. Anybody who's stopping by for the first time, you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, comment below, and let me know in the comments what you think of both models. And I'll also leave a link to my Instagram page below, some affiliate links as well, if you guys are interested in checking that out. So that's it, guys. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.